Alright, good morning, good day. This is the African Crypto Warlord show. Today we are looking at BTC USD. The last time we looked at it was about 14 days ago. What we currently are observing is the 7-day Laplace distribution cone. So these are probability levels playing out. Where it wants to be is in between those two blue lines that you see to the upside. As you can see, price action likes to play with these lines. So we're going to count down to see if it has mean reverted from level number 7, -7, and count up. And we can just have a long-term trend from these distribution cones that you saw play out. We'll match those levels up when we come back here with our VRE levels. Alright, so let me just start this off with a long-term analysis and say, so this is symmetrical, there's no skew. The mean is at $44,280. Now, -1, -2, -3. If you start holding above -3, if this, whatever candles can come up and hold above $28,110 in the next 7 days, you will have the ability to mean revert cleanly through to the upside. If not, and it gets denied over here, we're looking for -7. Okay, so this is -3, -4, -5, -6. Alright, -7. Okay, -8, -9. So we mean reverted from -9 to -7. From here to about -4. What I would say in a mean reversion play is, unless there's new flashes, these things, alright, these ones didn't line up, even though the volatility got flat, they all didn't line up, so I don't put the cone there, and there'll be a very important reason why. So I'll look for -9 to at least +7. So just take this next analysis with a pinch of salt. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the one that doesn't have anything. And that's a very stupid number, as I like to say, is 165. So those are the levels from here to here within the random distribution that I have probable levels of where BTC is going to go. What stops that is if there's new flashes that line up. Alright, as we can see here, volatility's candles were completely zeroed on the 26th of March 2022. So we pretty much have 12 days, and we've been in this Laplace distribution cone for 365 days nearly. So we've been in it for 354, so we're waiting for or 358, and we're just waiting for the round off now in the next coming week. Okay, so those are the levels of mean reversion. As I stated, if we fail below 28,110, you're going to look for mean reversion back down to any one of these levels. If you hold above this key region here, you can look for mean reversion. That's back up to 50k. Generally, you see a lot of fighting action happen here. If you get up to the orange line, you more than likely have a reversal over here. Alright, on the 1 minute. And then if it can hold above the mean, it has continuation. But that's for later. We're looking for 28 to hold above there for continuation up. Otherwise, if it carries on closing below $22,222, we can look for mean reversion down to -7, which is this first colored one. Alright, so that is the very long-term analysis. What we're going to do next is we're going to do a volatility shuffle from the 21-day down to the 15-minute. And I think whilst we are here, just so that we can get the levels, let me just draw them out on this. So what are our key levels? So for today, our daily mean is at $23,488. Alright, so that's somewhere in this region. Okay, and then we have our next target at, our weekly mean is at 21,371. So that's currently below, and we haven't touched that mean. So I do expect us to come back down here sometime in the future. Could not be tomorrow, could not be in 3 weeks, but I do expect us to touch this untouched weekly at 21,376, a little bit higher. So more than likely find, let's move that over, April 10th 2023. That comes into the probability levels of a retest. Okay, so this is the current price. I mean, you get that at 88, you leave it at 75, so that's there, and our monthly is at 23,360, and that would be also just in this region. Pop it there. Okay, so what can we see? We can see untouched weekly mean down here, and we can see that if you hold above these two levels, this will obviously be a middle point between the bands. Now I will prop it up here. So this is on the 15-minute chart. So this is just to give you a look at those lines we just plotted. That's our weekly mean, which is remained untouched. As you can see in this region here, from the 13th of March, has not come back in. These little hash lines that you can maybe see, I'll zoom in. This is our range. To the downside is 4.92% before daily close. For it to be safe, let's say within the month, if it does get quite chaotic, I would say that it can stabilize negative 5.87% from here. And then obviously, if it fails these levels, if it does come down here, I would expect to touch down to $21,389 at the weekly mean. Okay. Now, if you're finding this information helpful, please do smash the like and subscribe. So we've already figured out that we have an untouched weekly mean. So sometime in the data set, in the future, we're coming back to touch this region. We have seen that we are pretty much just shy of our very high term trends. All right, we're like $1,000, $2,000 out, and that was $28,810. That's up here somewhere. All right. So from BTC's next resistance, it would have to, from where it is now to the top side of that Laplace distribution cone, is 14% to the upside, which is pretty much a fair deal. Maybe to the downside. What did we just measure? So it's pretty much a 1-for-1 to the upside or the downside. If it gets up here, it has the ability to mean revert for a very long-term time frame. If it fails below here, we can expect these regions to carry on playing out. Now, what I've just said, I'd be guessing that takes, not today, but it would, okay, the first yellow line, I'll always say will be within today's reach, but I'd say in the next 3 days to the next 21 days, all right? But within the next 3 days to 7 days, I'd expect a touch here at the weekly mean if it fails this region. So in 7 days, I expect a touch here. Even if it has run up to 28K first, I'd say it would want to base around here. The higher it can get towards the end of the month to close the monthly mean in 14 days, 16 days, the better it will be for BTC long term. But if it fails here and just starts going sideways or starts closing below this monthly mean, we'll know that the next April's monthly mean will also be lower. So it just makes it harder and harder for BTC to break to the upside. So that's sort of what we're figuring out here today. It obviously ripped up. It didn't touch the mean of this month, and that's what we got here. So we ripped from this region here all the way up. This is our monthly mean, which was remained untouched for 14 days, and smoked straight through it. So to say that this is not a magnet in my probabilistic levels would be silly. Okay, now we're going to start on the 21 day, and we're going to start a volatility shuffle. So I'm just going to say this. We're going to, all of them say pretty much up until we get to the 3 hour. So I say the trend is going to be starting and ending on the 3 hour for this move. So my previous observation was a 90-minute, but it took a bit long to play through. Right, it took 3 hours to play through. So I'm going to say I'm going to wait for continuations from the 3 hour for the next 14 days. Okay, so 21 says expansion to the upside as you'd expect. We just had a big candle to the upside, but we still have returns that are negative. Okay, and if we zoom in here, they didn't really turn around that much. Okay, they sort of did. They didn't catch the trend or whatever, but it's still got a very long time. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 times 21, about 84 days worth of price action until you get a very long-term follow through to these targets up here that you can start plotting. So in 82 days, have we broken our current 360-day Laplace distribution on the 7 day? That's what we're going to be looking for. Okay, so returns are saying to the upside, Super Scalper is saying start taking profits, or the candles to the upside are going to get smaller. That's the 21 day. This was saying expansion to the upside, but it's going to catch some exhaustion. So what can we see here? We can see that we came up, we didn't smoke a mean. Have I got these up on this one? Okay, they're not loading there. Oh, that's not good. Can I put it on this one? Sorry for this. Hopefully this side will load. Okay, perfect. Now, what we can see on the 21 day is if we remain above this institutional level, the reverse wave trend, you have continuation to 35 region. Okay, now through the 7 days worth of price action to keep it up here, we're going to expect that 28k mark sometime. If it can hold above this orange region, okay, what at the end of the day am I looking for? I'm looking for this green line to come up, touch the orange line and break through. Otherwise, what I know that happens is the green line is going to come up like the cobra and it's going to smack on the head by the orange line, and it's not going to be able to break through. So it'll be a bit of a wick to the upside. That's why I say the 28k mark, the probability level we just pulled off of the Laplace distribution level. That's why I say that region up here somewhere could be the wick for it trying to break through this orange line but gets denied. Okay, so it's still within our probabilistic returns. Okay, and then those were obviously all our previous untouched targets. What can I see? Liquidity has been built, but front run and wicked to the downside in this current price action that we experienced in the last 24 hours. Whipped it to the downside and filled this. So this is a front run in my eyes on the 21 day to the upside, which is pretty bullish. Now that only comes true if it opens and closes 2 candles above the orange line here. I just call it $24,000. $24,420, ironically. And then the 21 day can have a bit more continuation. Otherwise, we'll see the next 21 days go sideways. Also to keep it there if it doesn't get the wick up to the 28k region that we've just noted. Alright, so what else can we see here? We can see that the 14 day, I don't put too much weighting on the 14 day, but I do like to see what's happening on it, because not a lot of people will be looking at it. So we have a hidden bull div OVs that's pulling through, looking for a mean reversion phase. So I would say this mean reversion phase has the legs. If the candle gets, if this mean reversion phase happens when price action is at this line, so just call it maybe on the next print it'll be about $26,500. Mean reversion to the upside, that would be perfectly timed with hidden bull div, and you get you up to a health side at 30k. Okay, and then there's levels here. So the 14 day I don't put a lot of weighting on, but I do see the structure that can unfold. Okay, so this is back to our 7 day. Now as you can see, those targets we're talking about, 28k 200, that's the real target. Sorry, now that I've zoomed in, 28k on the dot. And to the downside, this is our current range, $22,569. Okay, so that's the current range, and that's what we're looking for BTC to start making its mind up. If it can close above here, that would be good, but that only happens if it closes above the levels we've just been looking at, those orange lines, okay, on the 21 day. Now we have expansion to the upside. Again, it's above the reverse wave trend, has super scalper saying through. So now for continuation, I need to see closes above the orange band to have the mean reversion play to the upside, and have this mean reversion that's a little bit skanky looking over there. Now I've zoomed in, it's not so much. Mean reversion to the upside. That'll only be true if it holds above this orange line. It's in a trend to the upside, but it's a very big candle, so it's obviously going to warp a lot of the data. So we have the 3 day with expansion to the upside, mean reverting as well. Orange band Reenies. So it will save its mean reversion to the upside or mean revert to the downside. So it's bullish if it closes above $24,311. It's bullish. It becomes bearish if it closes below then. Same factor that we're looking at on the 5 day. And the 14 day is this little cobra is going to get smacked down, because that's currently what's happened here. As you can see, as soon as the green line touches, boom, it gets smacked down. So now it needs to hold above this orange line in order for the green line to allow it to come here on the next print naturally. Okay, so that's what we're waiting for here, is just institutional levels to carry on through. And what have we got? This is 24 hour. 24 hours, the same thing, holding above its bands, expansion to the upside. Started to lose correlation and trend, but we'll start to hunt that on the lower term time frames. Okay, if it carries on closing above 24,323, which we've demarcated on the higher term time frames, will be quite bullish. Now same thing applies here. We're looking for the little green cobra and not to get smashed by the institutional logarithmic power mean that we have set up here. But if it does break through, you can look for continuation up into, where's the 7 day, into one of these regions, 28k. So you're just looking for the Cobra to pretty much break through on all those lines for continuation up. If they don't, you're looking for mean reversion back down to, I'm going to say 17k. Now we're on to the 12 hour. So losing correlation, it says upside candles are going to get smaller. This is an outlier event. Wait for the red flash to end. You can have a short down to at least $22,858. 12 hours starting to turn down. Super Scalper says put the short on. What have we got? Contraction is saying, okay, so the Super Scalper is saying put the short on. This is saying it's not confirming yet. Volatility is contracting. What's negatively correlated pushes float up. So can I put some orange banderinos on? They are too far away. Alright, so what I'd be looking for generally for the next 3 hours is you close below $24,709. Look for continuation to the downside. You close above $24,724. You can see some sideways action. I'm not necessarily going to say to the upside because there's been a big wick, but it could hang around here for a little longer. To the 6 hour, just bare divs. It's getting smashed. So the reason why these, you see it's all red here, it's putting the sell signal, and the reason why I didn't get the legs to the downside is because it hit positive drift. So I'll be looking for a bullish div to maybe play out on the 6 hour, but when will be quite hard. It will be quite hard to guesstimate, as this is saying the short is on, we're closing below the levels, you start closing below the orange line, mean reversion at 23,516, so we already pulled out a target at in this region here. We even have a 21,842. So if it fails to close above this orange line, I expect here furthermore just this mean at 22,222, you could say, which is the bottom side of our previous 7-day cone, right? So that's the levels we're looking at here on the 6 hour, right? Fall through to the bottom side of that cone. So those are the legs. This is sort of where we started to bounce from. If you find this information helpful, please do like and subscribe. So what can we see here? We can see some expansion to the downside on the 3 hour. Okay, the point of liquidity at 2717, so we've demarcated that region. Again, we have 22,952. This is a flat region, did show some action here and continuation through. Our monthly mean is at 23,360. Alright, that's over here, and our closest daily mean is around about here, 23,488. Okay, so it's just this little high here on the 3 hour. As a liquidity patch, so it saves itself above these two orange bands. Look for reversal to the upside again. If it closes below these two orange bands at 2361, I'll look for continuation back down to 28 grand from here. But if it saves itself above these two from 23,641 to 23,320, I'll see that as this is the outlier, that is the reversal points. This will go red, this is the outlier. That's a hidden bull div waiting to happen. And as you can see here on the 90 minutes, pretty much pointing out the same region that we were looking at. Okay, so this is the ultimate power mean. If it doesn't break through our ultimate power mean, our long-term trend, you'll look for continuation to upside. If it holds below this, we look for continuation down, and we already have the orange bands here. So it usually exits from them and wants to come back. It doesn't exit, doesn't come back if it carries on holding above the mean. As you can see, we've just come up on the 90 minute, failed the mean, getting caught in between these two bands. So the same idea that I was saying on the 3R. If we can hold in this region, we look for bullishness. Just because of the tap here, look like it's a front run to the downside. If not, it's going to take a little bit of effort to keep this going through. Actually, 90 minutes turning around, this is the same thing, hidden bull div. So I know that I usually get, this could be a little one up, and then the 3 hour bull div will have the opportunity to swing the higher term time frames. Some liquidity down here looking to start adding on. Sorry for the analysis paralysis over here. So this is like intraday levels. This is just the range. So liquidity going to come up and touch 24,679 before anything else, and then it will decide if it wants to go to this yellow side, to this green side at $24,205, or into this little gap here at 25,064. hold above this region, you can look for continuation up. Hold below this region, you can look for continuation. Close below this region, and you look for continuation down. That would be the range. Now we're going to put it on the 15 minute. I'm not going to do it. Maybe this looks like a place I can do a volatility analysis. So contraction, sideways, bull div, bounce, RWT in the gap, matching up with a 90 minute. But our daily is here. What is that saying? It's a downside. I would only take the trade long if this thing flashes green and holds above $24,655 for 2 candles. I'd look for then the exit at $24,900, maybe half of it, and then the rest out here at $25,150 if I was intraday trading, knowing that the target that they're wanting to hit is $25,000. That would be a very volatile move when it gets up there. Otherwise, as you can see what's happening here, it is going down because the red line is below the orange line. You're going to bounce on this region here. You close below $24,430. You look for continuation down to the daily mean. You start closing below the daily mean. There's a monthly to save it within the day. And then wherever the new daily prints, I'm guessing it's going to be in the same place. It's going to touch it. It's not going to be that much further. It's going to be a variance of 2% from here if we're getting close. So that's the range that I'd expect for tomorrow. So there, roundabout. Alright, a touch in here, look for continuation tomorrow. We have this sneaking up here, 22 grand, which is the bottom side of our 7-day Laplace distribution code. Put the ultimate power mean on, and that's exactly where the ultimate power mean is. You hold above there, it's still bullish. You close below the little green area, 22,682, it's bearish. Even though this is a big candle, don't worry. If it closes above that line, it's still bullish, but if it closes below that line, it's bearish. And I hope this was helpful. I'm going to post XRP on Rumble. Ciao Bella. African Crypto Warlord, out.